13 years ago, when I first started working as an escort, I genuinely believed that only the prettiest women could make real money in this industry. I thought you needed the perfect body, the flawless face, the Instagram-worthy look to attract high-paying clients and build a successful career. And why wouldn't I believe that? Everything in our culture tells women that our value is tied to how we look, especially through the lens of male desire. Think about it. Porn, Instagram, advertisements, movies, music videos, they all sell the same narrow definition of what's desirable. Thin waist, big boobs, big ass, perfect skin, long hair, full lips. But one day, something weird happened. A guy came into the brothel I worked at and booked the one woman everyone said was the most beautiful. She could have been on the cover of a magazine. But then, 30 minutes later, he came out and he chose me instead. He told me that she barely spoke to him, that she rushed through the service and made him feel like a burden. And that is when I started to realize beauty gets you looked at, but it is not what makes someone stay. In fact, over the years, my body changed a lot while I was working. I went through periods where my body fit 2 dress sizes up from what I would normally wear. If beauty were really what determined success in this industry, this should have destroyed my career. But it didn't. Clients barely cared. Because what they came back for was not my body, it was how I made them feel. Now, I'm not saying beauty doesn't matter at all, it does. I mean, I got a boob job at 18, thinking that it was the secret to attracting more clients. It wasn't. Makeup, lingerie, grooming, permanent treatments are not what made me valuable. It just made my job easier. But for some workers, the reality is much darker. I once had a student who was Indian. She was gorgeous, professional, and exactly the kind of worker any client would be lucky to spend time with. She used to work at an agency before she came to me. When she first started at that agency, she put Indian as her ethnicity, thinking transparency was the right approach. But what she noticed was that she got fewer inquiries. She attracted Indian clients, but far less British clients, which is what she wanted to attract more of. She felt that putting her ethnicity on her profile took the attention away from her as a person. So her agency removed her ethnicity. And guess what? Her bookings doubled. Same photos, same rates, same person. The only thing that changed was one word on her profile. And that is a sad reality for some workers. The industry doesn't just reward conventional beauty, it can also fuel stereotypes. Indian women can be stereotyped as exotic. Black women are sometimes fetishized or dismissed entirely. Asian women are either hypersexualized or seen as submissive. And these stereotypes directly impact income. But sometimes the same stereotypes can actually have the complete opposite effect. I had an Asian student who worked at one of the most competitive spas in Canada. We're talking 20 workers upwards competing for one client. You don't make money unless the client picks you out of that lineup in this job. So how did she consistently get chosen? She could have tried to hide her ethnicity, blend in, and be just the girl next door, but she did the opposite. She leaned into what made her different. She was the only Asian working at a parlor in Ottawa. So when clients had a thing for Asians, they would book her and she could charge premium prices. She even had a background in Reiki and holistic massage. So instead of offering just a physical service, she created a deeply immersive, personalized experience. She brought in energy work, connection, relaxation. She let clients know up front, I love to give and receive pleasure. That authenticity became her competitive advantage. But most women don't do this, especially in brothels where you get more low-ticket clients. Women compete with each other in the most destructive ways possible. Workers who don't think they're pretty enough or young enough or thin enough start competing on the wrong things. They drop their rates. They offer more services for less money. They start offering things that previously they would never have considered doing just to stay competitive. In Melbourne, where I worked, you weren't legally allowed to offer unprotected oral sex 10 years ago. But I knew workers who would offer it anyway. Some would even offer unprotected full service for an extra fee. And you know what? It did not make them more successful. It just made them resentful and trapped in a cycle where they had to keep offering more to earn more. And look, I get it. Ultimately, everybody is just trying to generate income to pay their bills and their lives. And if you feel comfortable doing more, that's fine. It's when you don't feel comfortable that it is a problem. If we just focus more on increasing the quality of our services instead of undercutting each other, we can all rise together. And this is what I started teaching all of my students. You do not have to change yourself to fit into the industry's narrow idea of beauty. You can find your market. I had a student with natural breasts who was convinced she needed implants to compete. But when I asked her, what do your repeat clients always compliment you on? She said they love that I'm all natural. So I told her, that is what you should be marketing. Stop trying to look like everyone else. Your natural look is what makes you different. And she did. And her bookings went up. I had curvy students who thought they needed to lose weight to be desirable. But there is actually an entire market of men specifically seeking curvy women, not despite their curves, but because of them. When you actually read what men say online, they talk about wanting someone they can hold on to, someone who feels real, someone who makes them feel masculine. That is not about being conventionally pretty. That is about giving someone a specific feeling. I had tattooed students who were struggling because they didn't fit the girl next door look that a lot of clients say that they want. So we stopped trying to market them that way. We leaned into their tattoos, their edge, their alternative vibe, and marketed them to clients who specifically wanted that. And what I found empowering about this approach was that it allowed women to use their natural features, whatever they were, as their competitive advantage. Instead of trying to change yourself to fit some impossible standard, you lean into what makes you different and find the clients who specifically want that. That is what made this profession so empowering for me over the years. I did not have to hide what beauty standards would call imperfections. I could use those same imperfections to my advantage to make more money and become financially successful. And I could help other women do the same. But it still took me many years to fully get that. That is why I created Escort Academy. It is the resource I wish I had when I was 18. I have seen too many women burn out, undercharge, and waste years on clients they hate because no one taught them this. If you want the full system for attracting high-paying clients who respect your boundaries and pay your rates, then go to isabellefox.co. You will see real results from escorts now earning $20,000 to $60,000 a month and more, and you'll get free training you can use immediately.